Hi.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, pretty good actually. So I didn't know how it would be from Belgium to here, but I guess it worked out.
Yeah. Exactly. It's evening here, so
Yeah. Did you have a long
did
day?
you work today? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I worked. I just got off actually. So I timed it just right. So
Oh,
how well, I guess we can get started. I guess first and foremost, I want to thank you for coming on the show. I really appreciate it.
yeah. Thank you for inviting me, and I'm sorry for my crappy English.
No, I'm sure your English is great, actually. Um, so you said that you actually quit your job. Did you go through with that?
Yeah. I did go through with that. Yeah, it was so scary, but I had to.
What kind of work did you do?
I was a nurse.
You were
Yeah,
a
for
nurse,
the
really?
for the past 7 years. But lately, with the COVID and everything, the stress was so high that my body didn't respond anymore.
Hmm.
So I went to my doctor and he said, well, you have two choices, or you keep working or you keep competing, but you can't do both.
I see. So what you're saying is the stress from the work affected, like when you say your body wasn't responding, it wasn't responding to what, the diet or the training?
Yeah, to the diet. Yeah, I was on a very low calorie diet,
Hmm.
like 1,200 calories, and I wasn't dropping anything.
Yeah. How is how is the nursing, or I guess the everything going on with COVID in nursing and medical field there in Belgium?
Well, we are still in lockdown,
Hmm.
so that sucks. But at first, I worked 7 years in the hospital, also the first year of the COVID pandemic.
Yeah.
That's where I got COVID myself, and
Oh wow.
yeah, I infected my dad also. Yes, yeah. I was very ill. I couldn't breathe anymore. I couldn't take the stairs. I couldn't do anything. And
Hmm.
it lasted for 2 weeks or something.
Hmm.
But then I decided to move to the other side of Belgium because I met my boyfriend.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I had to switch jobs and I decided to not work in a hospital anymore, but more in a nursing home.
Hmm.
But it was such hard work. I couldn't combine it to the sports and work. It was impossible.
Was the
So
was the
that's
was the hospital easier than the nursing home?
yeah. Yeah, because I could ask in the hospital, I could ask, I want this kind of shifts. Like I was always doing evening shifts, so I could build a form of structure.
Mm-hmm.
And in the nursing home, I had everything, all the shifts, the early shift, evening shift, night shift, everything.
Oh wow.
So my
Okay.
structure was totally gone. Yeah, my body couldn't adapt.
And you didn't think about just trying to switch over to a hospital, or that wasn't an option?
By the time I was thinking about switching, it was too late. I was
Mm.
too tired and I was too,
Too exhausted. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. So I had COVID as well, and my symptoms were very, very mild. Of course, when I got it, I was afraid, because you don't know which way it's going to go, but they ended up being mild. So it's so interesting how one person, because you're a healthy person, you're young, and
Yeah.
and people
Yeah, but
always.
I was like the so-called super spreader. I was
What
like,
is
yeah, I
what
was
do you
very
mean?
infectious. Yeah. So you have in Belgium they give you a quote like
Uh-huh.
your COVID plus or COVID plus plus, and I was like COVID plus 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 plus.
You got all the pluses. That's
Yes.
great. I didn't even
Yeah.
know. I didn't know about that. I didn't know that there was like a level of how infectious you are, that they could determine that. That's interesting.
I think the normal people don't see it, like,
Hmm.
but I could see it because I work in a hospital, like how infectious I was.
Hmm. How did your dad handle it?
My dad was very ill too. He had a fever for 3 weeks.
Mm.
And he was, yeah, just the fever, only this. No breathing problems, nothing.
And did you have other symptoms outside of the fever?
No, I didn't have the fever.
Oh, you didn't. Okay. So you
No,
said
only
you
breathing
were ill
trouble.
as.
Yeah.
Mhm. Got it. So you had some breathing troubles.
Yeah, but like very bad. I had to open the windows to breathe
Yeah.
in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's horrible. What is your opinion on the vaccine? You know, there's different opinions on it. What do you think?
It's my opinion changed over time. In the beginning, I'm like very against it
Hmm.
because in the nursing home, everybody got the injection without permission, actually. So we
Oh
just
wow.
had to put all the people in the space where they gave the injection, and I saw everything. Everyone got the vaccine, and a few of them died. So I was
Oh
like, what the
no.
fuck is this? Yeah. And I was like very scared from the vaccine.
So
But
so
now that I'm,
so I was gonna. So they didn't ask any permission or anything like that. They just put him in a room and started
yeah,
injecting.
yeah, they asked permission before, but there was like 2 or 3 people that said no. And then they had to sign a paper, and then they convinced them to take it
Mhm.
anyways. Yeah.
What did they, do you know what they died from as far as the vaccine? Like, was it, I know there's, I just was talking to my mother and she was texting me, telling me that there's a lot of information kind of coming out as far as the blood clots from the vaccine. Do you know like what those individuals died from?
No,
No.
no, I don't know.
Got
It
him.
just it could be a coincidence because the people were old, of course,
Sure, sure.
but
Yeah.
it was like, yeah, 4 hours after the vaccine. So
Oh, that's fast. That's fast.
yeah.
Yeah, man, that's terrible. That's a terrible situation.
Yeah.
So, but you're done with that now. It's all over. Now you're focusing strictly on training.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think I'm gonna take the vaccine as well.
Hmm. Got it. What made you choose? What made you?
Are you going to take it?
We've chosen right now, me and my wife, to hold off on it. But
Yeah.
we'll see. You know, we'll see what happens in the future. For right now, what made you decide to go ahead and change your mind on it?
Well, it's my mother-in-law. She got the vaccine and she responded very good.
Well,
And my dad also got his first injection, and he had again the fever
mm-hmm.
for 2 days, but now he's okay.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. Yeah, I mean, I know people, a lot of people that have gotten the vaccine and are fine. You know, I'm more concerned, and of course, I don't have any answers, but I'm more concerned about like what's gonna, you know, how is it gonna affect me down the, you know, years from now. So I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
maybe not at all, you know, but you know, but I don't have any answers. But like you said, at least you're done with the whole nursing stress thing,
Yeah,
everything, all that,
exactly.
you know, is done with. So what do you primarily are focusing on? You have an online training that you kind of run.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I have a few clients for online coaching. It's not enough to live from, so at the moment my boyfriend is helping me out.
He's
But
providing.
yeah, yeah. But I'm trying to make it grow,
Hmm.
and yeah, I'm probably going to compete again
Okay.
and focus on that first.
Yeah, I saw that you compete in WBFF in the past, right? Are you continuing to compete in the same division? Are you going to switch over?
Oh yeah, I'm going to switch over to the MPC.
Got it.
Now that there's more perspective in the wellness category, I'm going to try it there.
Yeah, got it. So what made you decide to go wellness? Have you considered any other divisions?
Yeah, yeah, the body fitness division, but I don't like the posing.
Got it. Got it.
So that's all. Yeah. And
Yeah.
the WBFF is so expensive to compete in.
Mm,
It's it's a lovely it's lovely to compete there because the shows are so well organized and everything,
mm.
but it's so expensive.
Yeah. It looks expensive. I'll tell you that. It looks expensive because when I see the girls there, they're always like wearing a lot of like accessories. So, and
Yeah,
I know how it is with NPC, and it's not cheap there. So I can only imagine with all those accessories and everything, it's probably even even more expensive there. So.
it's not only the bikinis and the accessories, but it's also the entrance fee
Mm-mm.
that yeah, it's a lot higher than with MPC.
Yeah, I wonder why. Oh, is it just because it's not as big, or what do you think the reason is for that? Or just because they can?
The shows are on a, yeah, it's on a whole other level. It's not, you can't compare it actually.
Hmm.
It's they take care of the athletes also, and females and males are backstage separated. You
Hmm.
can't bring your coach because you have to help each other. So it's, yeah, it's really nice to compete with, but it's too expensive.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's understandable. So, how did you get into training and fitness in general, like in your life? Were your parents, into fitness?
No, absolutely not. No, I was like maybe a little bit too fat, and I was insecure. So yeah, I started training to feel better.
Hmm.
And then at a certain moment, someone asked me to try CrossFit. So I trained in CrossFit for 4 or 5 years. I don't remember,
Hmm.
but anyways, and I also competed with CrossFit. I loved it so
Oh
much.
wow, yeah.
Yeah,
CrossFit is interesting. I've just been kind of adding that to some of the movements that they have in CrossFit to my training because I wanted to. For the longest time, I most of my training were strictly for aesthetics, just for the way I look,
yeah,
and I wanted to get back to kind of training for performance and just athleticism. So I started incorporating, and it's if you haven't done it for a while, it's very difficult to get back into. It's not an easy thing. So especially the
yeah. So
snatches and
many
all that.
movements are. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Especially when you're a bodybuilder, the mobility lacks probably.
Absolutely. Like I'll get to here and then it won't go any further. And I'm like, oh, I've gotta do something about this. This is not okay.
No, it's not.
That's funny. So so you did CrossFit and you enjoyed it. Like what made you stop doing CrossFit?
Well, my boyfriend at that time was a bodybuilder,
Hmm.
and we were planning our year. And at a certain moment, I was planning a competition in Paris, I guess. Yes, Paris. And he wanted to do a competition in Singapore at the same moment. So I was like, well, one of us has to choose to not compete at that moment. And he was like, no, I'm not gonna choose to not compete. And I was like, okay, then I'll choose to not compete, but I come with you. And that's when I did my first WBFF show, but my shape wasn't anywhere, and it was not even close with
Hmm.
ready.
But you didn't prepare for that show, right? You just went
Oh
and did
yes,
it.
I
Oh,
did
you did prepare
prepare.
for it. Hmm.
Yeah, but I was like, my coach said so many grams of vegetables, so many grams chicken, so many grams of almonds, and I was just like, oh, one chicken fillet, one hand of nuts, and one, yeah. So
Yeah,
I
yeah,
wasn't taking it seriously.
got it, got it. So so that was kind of your first introduction to away from CrossFit and into
Yeah, yeah, and that's
bodybuilding.
where the president of the WBFF came to me, and he said like, you have a really big potential to grow in this federation.
Hmm.
So he recommended a coach from the WBFF to me, and I was like, yeah, well, that's a good marketing, but I'm not buying it.
Right, right.
So I tried another time with the same coach, and I got my pro card.
Hmm.
The second show I did with the WBFF. And then I did switch to the WBFF coach, and he was like my coach for 3 years. Yeah. So he was actually good. It was
Hmm.
not a marketing trick.
Right. Now he worked out. That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's how I am too. Whenever somebody like comes up and tells me anything like that, I'm very skeptical. You know, I'm like, yeah, I'm sure you're just trying to, like you said,
Yeah.
marketing.
To sell something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. So and then I guess you kind of progressed. You got your pro card. And how long have you now been competing? And was how long has it been? I guess since your pro card.
My pro card was in 2017, so
Oh, so
for
it's been a few
4 years.
years. Hmm.
Yeah, a few years. Yeah.
Got it. So now that I guess now that you're switching to NPC, what are your goals? Like, do you have a competition picked out, or like
Yeah. Yeah.
you
I'll
do?
be competing in September as an amateur again.
Hmm.
So I definitely want to try to get that pro card again.
Yeah. How does that feel like for you? You know, being a pro and then now kind of, I don't want to say stepping back because you are in a different division, but essentially go like you said, going back to amateur status.
Yeah, I'm just scared that the other girls will see me as the intruder. Like, it's not fair. She's already a pro and she's competing with
Hmm.
us. And
Mm.
so
Well, the good thing
that's the
is,
only.
yeah, the good thing is about since you're going into wellness that that it is fairly new in the IFBB. So you're kind of just coming in at the early stages in development of the division. Do you keep up with the other competitors?
Hell yes, I think I can beat him.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think about, they have a Pittsburgh Pro coming up here in the
Yeah.
with a lot most of the girls that are going to be there, they're probably going to be in the Olympia. Is there somebody that you think is going to win?
Well, there's a friend of mine competing. So Sunny, she's also from the WBFF.
Hmm.
And we competed together and we were backstage a lot when we compete together. So
Hmm.
I'm especially rooting for her.
Yeah.
But I really think the shape of your Rishna is beautiful. It's insane. It's
Yeah.
not from the earth. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think most people think that she's the favorite, I guess, to win the show. So we'll see what happens, but it's gonna be interesting. So how are they having a lot of competitions in Europe now with everything being kind of locked down, a lot of places? How does that work?
No, not at all.
No.
No. So I was trying to prep for a competition in June actually. But like I told you, my body wasn't responding.
Hmm.
So I moved the competition, but still I don't know if the competition in June will happen.
Hmm. So are you still like trying to prep? Because I know you said that your body is not responding. Are you still
Yeah.
in that mode? You are okay. So
Yeah, no, I just so after my previous coach said like so you're too stressed, you have to quit the prep and everything. It was like a slap in the face.
Hmm.
So I was in the beginning, I was angry, I was feeling all the emotions of prep actually.
Yeah.
And then I decided to just eat whatever the fuck I want. Yeah, but not too much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just everything I wanted for
Mm.
2 weeks. And it was very funny because my shape was improving and I was not gaining weight.
Mm. That's good.
So that's where yeah. So I looked for a new coach actually. It was not my previous coach's fault, not at all, but I wanted someone that I didn't know because my previous coach was actually a friend of mine. And it's yeah, I wanted someone I didn't know so I don't ask too much and I don't try to I don't know how to say it in English, but I don't try to negotiate.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. So
Yeah.
you just do what he asked you to do.
Yeah, he sends me the schedule and I'm just doing it. Although it's really crazy what he asks from me.
What do you mean? Like give me an example.
Like the trainings are 15 exercises. 15. I'm training for 2 hours.
So are you able to even recover from that? You said your body's getting better.
I told you I did CrossFit. So what do you think?
Yeah. So, well, I mean, yeah, but that was a long time ago. I didn't know if that was still something,
No, it's actually not, because during COVID, it was the only thing I could do in the first year. So I tried to CrossFit again, but I saw my body changing back into the CrossFit shape with the straight waist and everything. And that's when
Mhm.
where I decided, okay, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. So, like, if you were to say, like, what's your, I guess, best part, best body part, like, what would you say it is? Best and worst. Let's do like bet your best body part, and then like one that you need to work on the most.
That's a really, really tough question, because my super strength is actually that I'm very in balance, very balanced.
Mm, I see.
But in do you mean in competition shape or in off-season shape?
Let's go with competition. Let's go on stage. Yeah, like what about it?
Um,
Yeah, on stage.
on stage, normally my abs are my strongest point, but the
Mhm.
last show they weren't. They disappeared the day of the show. I don't know why. So yeah, there was. I think my shoulders were very impressive there.
Mm.
Um, yeah, but I don't know what will be my best body part in the next show.
Yeah. So there's nothing in particular that you're working on. You're just trying to bring in a overall balanced physique and kind of see where
Yeah,
where you end
yeah.
up.
I'm working twice a week on my shoulders and twice a week on my legs, and then I have
Hmm.
one chest and arm day and one back day.
Got it. So not a lot on arms. Do you just genetically have?
No, no, no. No, I think it's important to keep the arms small, because
Mhm.
when you have big arms, your shoulders look small.
I see. Yeah. Especially
Yeah.
for wellness where they're not looking for, you know, overly large like arms or overly large,
Yeah.
like body.
And when you train back, you train bicep also a little bit. And
Right.
when you train chest, you also train a little bit of tricep.
So okay, so what are your calories at now?
I have no idea. I don't want to calculate it.
So
But
that
it's really crazy.
like low, very low.
Yeah, wait, I have it here. So here's my low days.
Hmm.
It starts with just 200 grams of egg whites, 40 grams of oats, and optional vegetables. Then I go with 4 meals of 113 grams of fish and 16 grams of raw almonds. And if I want, I can add vegetables. And then I have pre-workout and post-workout the same. So 113 grams of fish and no almonds, but instead I have 92.5 grams of rice cooked. Wait.
Yeah, so does that's pretty low. Do you do you find yourself like like stressing like with that low of calories, or you can handle it pretty well at this point? I know before when you were working, it was you said it was a difficult thing to
Yeah,
manage. Now that you don't,
absolutely.
now is it a little better?
Yeah, it's a lot better.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. So, as you train people, what is your clientele mainly consist of? Like, do you have more like lifestyle clients, or do you help other people compete?
I have a few competitive females,
Hmm.
but the most of my clients are just
Oh, I think a lot.
normal people who want to live a
Yeah,
healthier life, and yeah, lifestyle coaching. Yes.
got it. So, if for the people that have like of a more of just trying to lose weight or become a little healthier, like how do you approach like you being a competitor where your life is surrounded by like training and fitness. You're so much above other people that are just getting started. Like if somebody came to you and just wanted to lose weight? Like, how would you
Yeah.
approach that?
At first, I have a very deep conversation with the people to see if they don't have an eating disorder or anything or no problems.
Hmm.
Um, and then I just um, add some protein to their diet, and I just start at maintenance level
Hmm.
of their calories.
Yeah.
And then probably they already make a huge change. And if they plateau, I just lower the calories and then
Hmm.
so on.
So you monitor them
But
as they go.
yeah, I monitor everything, yes. And I keep talking with my clients because I want to know everything. If they still can go to the toilet, if they have any problems at work, if they sleep good, if they, it's very personal actually.
Hmm. Hmm.
And for the normal people, I try to make some nice recipes and some fun food and not the boring chicken, rice, and nuts,
Right.
but yeah,
Yeah.
some exciting food.
Yeah, it's tough for someone who's not competing, who's not in the bodybuilding lifestyle, to just only eat these very bland type of meals, like with just chicken and just rice. They a lot of times they'll fall off. So I think it's a good thing to give them something that they can look forward to. It kind of keeps them going.
Yes, because we look at food a different way. We just see food, but they see
Hmm.
pleasure, and you have to enjoy food and you have to like food, and it has to be something different every meal. But for us, it's just food. It's just fuel.
Yeah. 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 No, you're right. You're right. It's interesting that you mentioned about you check to see if they have any kind of eating disorders. I've never heard a coach start off that way. Is there a particular reason why you start doing it? Have you had some people that do have some eating disorders, or like why did you
Yeah,
decide to check on that?
because when people come to me, it's almost always females.
Hmm.
And in my opinion, females have a lot more eating disorders than males
Yeah.
because females are also emotional eaters. So you have to find out if that's the problem also.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, so that's the reason why.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, like I said, that's interesting because I've never heard I've interviewed several coaches and several trainers, and that's the first time I've heard, because that is a big thing, especially it's
Yeah,
ironic. My wife is actually in school for nursing right now, and they're going through the processes of like different eating disorders and things like that. And it it affects a lot more people than we think, and there's
yeah, yeah,
mhm, and there's things that that we think are not disorders, but they really are, and clinically speaking. So it's a big deal. A lot of the people that I've interviewed, even the competitors, have had eating disorders in the past. So
yeah.
it's
I
a big
myself
deal.
too. Yes,
You
yeah.
you have as well.
Did yeah. After my last show, I had a binge problem.
Hmm.
So I didn't know when to stop, and I just keep going with the food. So
Yeah. How do you, in your opinion, and that does become a problem, especially when you, excuse me, when you restrict calories for so long after the show, you do tend to just want to binge everything. How do you combat that? Like, you've competed more than one time.
yeah.
What is the difference between the times that you don't binge eat all the time and the times that you do? Like, how do you solve that problem?
Um so I only had this problem the last show
Hmm.
because the first 8 weeks I kept on my schedule and I kept my shape really well, but then the problem starts. So I was like binging, and I was the next day I was like, oh, my shape's still fine. I can go again. And that happens a few days, and then it was like, oh, damn it, I'm fat. So yeah, it happens from one day to another that you think, it's still fine, and then the other day it's like, no, it's not fine anymore.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. Like right now, I'm trying to diet down a little bit, and so I'll diet for a little while, and I'll see improvements, and then and then once I see improvements, I'll eat a little more, and then be, oh, I'm okay, I'm still good, and then I'll eat more, and I'll eat more, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I'm not okay anymore.
No.
It
I
didn't take
recognize the
long.
situation.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So that's funny. Yeah, it is a problem, and for you, you're able to kind of get over it, but some people, like, it becomes a systemic issue. It doesn't stop for them. So it's
Yeah, for me it helped to use. I used an app, but I don't remember the name. It's so it was like the app told me, like, so you had to enter do you have an active day, when do you train, how
hmm
long do you train, how intense do you train, and then you could enter the food you wanted to eat,
yeah.
and then you could see how much you could eat from it, but you never saw calories or anything, so that helped me a lot, just to
hmm
see what I could eat, and I could enter anything, so the app calculated everything for me,
Yeah.
and that's when I got back on track and got the emotion of the food again.
Yeah, I think that's probably the biggest thing, right? It's like it's just having control over yourself. Sometimes you just kind of lose a little bit of control, and you need to kind of step back and gain some of that control again over your, I guess, desires, or for food. So
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. I think we need to keep the same structure as in off season as in prep.
Mhm.
But that's a really hard thing because you don't see improvements every week. You don't see yeah,
Right.
it's not the same feeling. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me ask you this question. What do you think is beneficial? Do you think it's good to gain a lot of weight in the off season? Because that tends to be a problem, I think, more so for men, although I've been seeing it a lot more in women as well. It's in the off season they get so big that when it comes down to actually prep time, they have to cut so much weight. I mean, health wise, it can't be good, right?
No, no, exactly. Um, well, I have that problem also. It just happens. So
hmm
you never know if a person does it on purpose or not. They
hmm
always say that it is to bulk or to gain season or anything, but it could be that it's just on purpose. Like my stage weight was last time 59 kilos or something, and in off season I'm just like 66 kilos or
Oh,
even more.
66.
Yeah.
So, I mean, so yeah, that's not, I mean, I've seen more. I've seen people gain
Yeah,
a lot
but
more
like
than
my
that.
boyfriend, he's competition shape and off-season shape, it's like 16 kilos difference. And the
Oh, yeah.
16 kilos came in 4 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah. You see, that's tough. That's tough. And I mean, and I wonder if, and just people in general, I wonder if you don't gain as much weight in the off season, that um you'll be able to have an easier prep. But then people will say, well, you might not make as many improvements. So it's a big question.
It's a hard thing because I think when you are lean, you 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 respond a lot better when you eat carbs.
hmm
When you are fuller, you don't respond that well on carbs. You don't see the amazing pump and everything. It's different.
Right.
I think it's better to stay lean, but I couldn't do it myself.
Yeah, easier said than done, right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because I also think that you should live a little. In off
Right.
season, you should enjoy the moments with your family and with your friends.
Sure.
Because when you go in prep again, it's those 6 months you always have to say no, and everything has to move for your prep.
Right. And yeah, I mean, you don't want to be like a crazy person that, like, you're spending time with your family, you can't have something to eat. You like, your grandmother is trying to feed you something, you don't want to take it. It just causes all kinds of problems. I don't know if your
Exactly.
grandmother's
Or your friends get married and you
uh
can't eat the food on the
yeah.
party and everything.
That
Yeah.
it becomes like, you look insane to other people, to people, especially those who like aren't into competing and things like that. There's just no way to live.
No, that's so weird because like um when you go to work with all your food with your 4 or 5 yeah
Yeah,
meals,
yeah,
they say, ah, you eat all the time the same, but I see every day they bring the same sandwiches. It's always sandwich with cheese.
that's
Yeah, and
it.
I was like, but you eat the same also every day.
Yeah, you just eat worse food than I do. That's basically what you should have told them. It's
Yeah.
but so how was that in the nursing where especially in the hospital? Well, I mean, you said the nursing home was more difficult.
Yeah.
How did you manage eating in a timely way, being a nurse? Because I know, I mean, nurses are very busy. They've got a lot of
Yeah.
rooms to take care of at once. How do you find time to eat every 2 hours, every 3 hours? Is that possible?
In the hospital, I told my colleagues like I have to have a small break at that time, that time, that time,
Hmm.
and I don't care what's happening in the hospital. I just take my break. Yeah. But I was working there for such a long time, I could
Hmm.
do it.
Right.
But in the nursing home, I was new, so I didn't have the time. So I decided to take meals I could eat with a spoon, so it goes very fast. Or
Uh,
sometimes I took liquid meals, yeah.
yeah. So you just did the best you could. You just whatever you could, get into.
Exactly.
Uh, I hear something. I don't know. I think there might be a helicopter outside. I'm not sure. Okay, never mind.
A helicopter or my dog snoring, I don't
Yeah, I
know.
want one or the other. That's funny. I was just listening to my dog. I had to kick her out because she was snoring so loud that I was like, "You can't be in here. The mic is gonna pick it up." So she snores so loud. It's like a real person. I'm like, how is that even possible? Like, what's going on in your nose? That
Yeah, I
you
have
know.
the same problem here.
Mhm. What kind of dog do you have?
A French bulldog.
Oh, friend. Oh, those are so neat. We were looking at some, but they can be kind of expensive. I don't know. At least in the U.S., they're very
Yeah.
expensive. Yeah.
Yeah, here also. But
Hmm.
I bought mine actually cheap, 7 or 8 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. Nice. Yeah, that's cute. Well, hey, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much. I know it's very late. I wish you all the best in your competitions. I know you're going to do
Thank
great.
you.
If somebody wanted to contact you for training or online coaching, what's the best way for them to do that?
They can send me a message on Instagram and then we'll talk it through and see if we match, because I think that's important that we can, yeah, that we have a certain match, that
Yeah.
they can trust me and that I have a certain feeling with my clients too.
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely agree with you. Well, thank you again, Eva. I really appreciate it. You have a great rest of the night. Okay.
Yeah, thank you too. And the same for you.
Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.